what the heck's going on? I mean, these companies are posting slight earnings misses. The guidance isn't great, but they're not saying we're never going to sell anything again or our business is going to fall by a quarter, and yet the market is just burning the whole thing down.
I think that's it. I mean, clearly the market's forecasting a huge demand issue going forward. These guys are missing earnings. There's no doubt about it. But the moves we're seeing in names like Target and Walmart, I mean, to call it unprecedented probably doesn't even do it justice. I've been doing this 30 years, never seen anything like it. And I lived through a lot of market downdrafts. But I mean, to see large companies like this moving 15, 20, 25%, I mean, this is just, it's crazy. And so, I mean, I've talked to a lot of CEOs. It's both it's a research firm and a consulting firm, so both private and public companies. And there is fear out there about consumer demand as we get through the summer.
Yeah. Now, listen, I'm going to bring up a Twitter poll here, Scott. And this is, listen, obviously, it's just my poll. It's my followers. Take it or leave it, whatever. But I thought it was sort of telling for this segment. I basically asked this: have you or are you going to cut back effectively on a trip or some big purchase that you had planned? 60% of people said yes. Nearly 20% of people said no, but I'm wavering. So you look at like 75 or whatever plus percent of people either have or are thinking about it. Again, just one poll. Who cares about that? But if that's accurate, maybe that's what sort of the market is reflecting. What's going to happen in October? Not now.
Oh, absolutely. We know the market projects forward. And I think that's really interesting. We've been talking a lot about the lower to lower middle. If you look at the basic necessities of life, the utilities, food at home, rent, I mean, the government's showing those things up kind of low double digits. We put them up, closer to 20%. I mean, that's 35, 40% of people spending, if you're under 52,000. So the low end already was challenging, to say the least, given what's going on with inflation. Now we have the anti-wealth effect. So it's not surprising that consumers are a little bit nervous. Anyone looked at their 401k lately has got to be a little bit nervous. I was actually just at the airport. Obviously, I travel a lot, doing a lot of field research. I mean, there was a line to get into the Sky Club at LaGuardia. Had to take a ticket. So not all spending is falling off a cliff, but I do think there's just, again, as I said, a lot of nervousness. You can't stress it enough. These CEOs are really nervous.
Yeah, and that's, I think, what's so confusing to our audience, because they see what they see with their own eyes. The airport, the mall, local restaurants with 2-hour waits. And they're thinking, what the heck is the market saying? Everything I'm looking at, home sales are wavering, but they're still pretty good. Car sales, they're still pretty strong. It's the fear of what's going to happen. My wife works in consumer products, and all we talk about around the dinner table is how, retailers may not be willing to take price increases. And I think sales may be strong. But talk to us about margins, Scott, how much money they're going to make, not just how much they sell.
Yeah, I mean, this is Target. What you're nailing right now is Target. Target sales were fine. They even said they thought the consumer was fine. The margins are an absolute disaster. Number one, they have the wrong stuff. They were heavy, they're heavy TVs, and the TV sales were weak. But on top of that, you're seeing diesel. I mean, this is not anything that people don't know, but diesel, prices escalate. The cost of labor escalating. So it's really tripping up margins. They simply just can't raise price fast enough to recoup the costs that are going up. The question, and I think
quickly, Scott, let me jump in. Let me jump in. I apologize because we're running out of time on this Friday. My bad. Is there one stock you think is on sale? I mean, one thing I've learned in doing this is you never bet against the American consumer. They generally surprise to the upside. Any name that is unfairly sold off right now?
Yeah, our favorite name is Tractor Supply. Companies going through a transformation. Wow. The lifestyle out there has come down a lot with the market coming down. So number one pick would be Five Below. I'm sorry, Tractor Supply. We do like Five Below as well, too.